St. Brito School in Devagota, I understand. Okay, so he spoke beautifully, so beautifully. I thought that he would become somebody great in the future. So you are attracted by the power of your speech. He didn't speak in English, he spoke in Tamil, but I cannot speak the way he spoke. Maybe his parents or teachers would have prepared him, but he spoke. He spoke so spontaneously. At one point of time, a moderator burst into laughter when the guy said, when I was a student, okay, he was talking about environment degradation. So beautiful. When I was that you become young boy in the future, then moderator stopped. So you are attracted by the power of your speech. Then he didn't speak in English. He spoke in Tamil. But I cannot speak the way he spoke. Maybe his parents or teachers how this prepared him, but he spoke. How they so spontaneously. I remember at one point of time, moderator on this burst into laugh. His laughter speech. The guy said, when I was, whether you were speaking about English or Tamil, so beautiful. When I was any language, young boy, depending upon the situation, you are attracted by the power of you need to employ the appropriate English. After all, language is not the way he spoke. Maybe his parents or see how this each language performs certain roles in our life. Spontaneously. I remember point of time, absolutely moderator is burst into laughter speech. The guy said, when I was when you watch a film, speaking about English or Tamil, when you talk to your parents, any character joke, young boy, depending upon the situation, you are attracted by the power around you employ the appropriate English is absolutely useless. It is not at all necessary. But what language do you need on such occasions? You need Tamil. You should have sense of humor. You should know how to persuade others, your friends, in Tamil. Okay, so language is not at all which language that doesn't matter at all. It depends upon your need. Friends, I need not overemphasize women's education because without language, no education. Without language, it is not at all possible. And India is a country with 1,652 languages. 1652 மொழிகள் வந்து இந்தியால பேசப்படுறதாக 1971 survey. Maybe a little less now. Some of the languages are gone with the tsunami. So no language, no education. No language, no development. No language, no promotion. No language, no social status. In your village, if you talk well, the whole village remembers you. If you read some letter in English for others and translate into Tamil for your neighbors, they will never forget you. Okay, so I need not overemphasize women's education since you're all students of a women's institution. You all should understand that we are living at a time when knowledge economy rules. What economy? Knowledge economy. Knowledge converts into money. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is money. Knowledge is social status. Knowledge is everything. But now the question is how to acquire knowledge. It's only through language. Which language? How many languages? It depends on your need. 10 years ago, I think I remember about 10 years ago, I went to Mysore to attend a wedding. In the wedding hall, I happened to see a small chap, must be doing 7th or 8th or 9th standard. I don't remember. I asked him. He told me a particular standard, but he was a school going, right? Not school final, somewhere between 8th and 9th standard or something like that. Then I kept talking in English because I didn't know the local language, Kannadiga. Then he asked me, don't you know Kannadiga? I said, I don't know. Then he told me, I know Tamil. He was born in Karnataka. He's a Kannadiga. He knows Kannada. He knows Tamil, but I don't know his language. You see that? If you travel a few hundred kilometers from Madurai, from Dindigul, you'll reach Bangalore. The other side of the state, children, they have learned Tamil. But our children, no, we have not learned their language, Kannada language. Then I asked him, you know Tamil, you know Kannada, you know English also, you know 3 languages. Then he said, uncle, I know 7 languages. He said, I know 7 languages. He said he was learning Chinese and Spanish in the evening. Of course, Mysore is a big city where he had an opportunity to learn Spanish and Chinese. So if you go outside Tamil Nadu, all big cities except Chennai within Tamil Nadu, if you go outside Tamil Nadu, whether it is Bangalore or Hyderabad, I am familiar with these two cities. No, children minimum they know 5 languages. Unfortunately, in Tamil Nadu, because of Dravidian politics, they have created a kind of animosity, hatred towards Hindi. Great disservice that these Dravidian politicians have done to generations of people. Mother tongue, friends, is absolutely necessary for a successful life, for successful living in your own places. You cannot have a successful life in Dindigul or any village surrounding Dindigul if you don't know Tamil. Mother tongue is absolutely necessary. Nobody is disputing that. You should all be good at Tamil. You should all be good orators in Tamil. Not Tamil literature, but Tamil. You should be able to pronounce the word Tamil. You should be able to talk in Tamil continuously. You must be able to propose a vote of thanks in Tamil. You should be able to introduce a chief guest in Tamil. You must be able to use Tamil to talk about Shakespeare in Tamil. You should be able to use Tamil to talk about Milton. If you cannot talk about Milton in Tamil, who else will do that? You should be able to talk about computers in Tamil. Okay, so Tamil is our mother tongue is the mother tongue. No language can replace it. No second thoughts about it. But my question is, how many of you are good at Tamil? How many of you can write Tamil without making spelling mistakes? How many of you are capable of writing Tamil without making grammar mistakes? How many of you take the learning of Tamil seriously? How many of you are able to read Tamil newspapers? How many of you are reading Tamil books, science books or literature books or history books, whatever it is? How many of you can write something worthwhile in Tamil? How many of you have written letters to the editor of any Tamil newspaper of your own choice? How many of you think that you can speak on formal occasions? How many of you think that you are public speakers? How many of you have the confidence to write academic articles in Tamil? How many of you are capable of presenting a research paper at seminars and conferences? So friends, sky is the limit. Don't say that I know only Tamil, as I stupidly told the guy in Mysore. I know only English. I know only Tamil. I got to cut a sorry figure when this little guy told me that he knew 7 languages. Language is a vital part of human connection. You get connected, you stay connected with those people with whom you can talk. Okay, so language is not at all a barrier. Learn as many languages as possible, because language allows us to share our ideas. Language allows us to share our thoughts, to share our arguments, to share our feelings with others. It has the power of building societies. It has the power of building relationships. It has the power of creating a sense of community. It has the power of creating a sense of togetherness. Okay, so language is very vital part of our human existence. But then, all said about our language, Tamil language, you should understand that we are living at a time, we are living in a country which is basically multilingual. I hope in Dindigul, people speaking Hindi, people speaking Telugu, people speaking Gujarati, people who are speaking Kannada may also live. And now, what is the scenario in the world? There is not even a single country in the world where English is not used. Throughout the world, in all the countries, there are about 204 countries in the world, out of which 194 or 95 are member countries of UN. All the countries are using the English language, learning and using English language. The country where huge amount of money is spent on educating children in English is China. There is always a stiff competition between China and India, and we always have a marginally slight edge over China. We are slightly better than China in one aspect, where they are miserably they are failing, but a day will come they will overtake India. That is use of English. Because we were once a colony, we learned English 300 years ago, and China had never been colonized by these guys, English guys, and therefore they have never had an opportunity to learn English. But now they are learning. They are learning English as a foreign language, but we are learning and teaching English as a second language. So, friends, it is if you are, when you say you are a postgraduate student, or if you are an educated guy, you should have learned additional languages. English is an additional language. EAL, English as an additional language. You can learn many additional languages. Additional, it depends on your opportunities that are available to you, money that you can spend, time that you can spare to learn many additional languages. There are so many benefits of learning additional languages. More languages, more development, more comfort, more creative thinking, more contribution to society. So the basics is for all these things is having a mastery over language. You should have a good command over the languages. And what are the additional languages available in our country? For most of us, the one major additional language that is available at a very, very cheaper cost is English. And from grade 1, you have been learning English. Maybe in postgraduate, you would not have learned, you would not have spent time on learning language officially in the curriculum. But then, as a postgraduate student, no, you should have learned English. Okay, so there are so many benefits of learning additional languages. Okay, so I share some of these benefits so that you can think about these additional benefits. Then you can, if you think that you are not learned additional languages in addition to Tamil, then it's high time that you started learning. Started investing your time, started investing little money of yours on learning the additional languages like English. First, I would like to tell you that there are so many cognitive benefits of learning languages. We cannot deny them. Cognitive benefits, mentally. When you learn more languages, okay, what I'm saying, they're all scientific facts. People who speak more languages, people who use more languages, people who learn more languages have improved memory. When you learn more languages, you can improve your memory capacity. This is a proven fact. So learning and using many languages improves your memory. Number one. Number two, people who are using many languages, people who are learning many languages acquire problem solving skills. You can easily solve problems compared to the guys who know only one language. People who know only one language, we call monolinguals. If you know two languages, we call them bilinguals. Lingual language, bilinguals. If you know many languages, you are called a polyglot. POLYGLOT. You know many languages. So if you know many languages, you have better memory capacity. Your memory storage is vast. Okay. You have the ability to solve problems. You have critical thinking skills. If you know many languages, you have better critical thinking skills. If you know many languages, you have enhanced concentration. Focus is better. Your concentrating capacity is better. If you know many languages, you have the ability to multitask. You can look at the children in your own home, your sisters, brothers, little ones in your neighborhood. Those who are attending first standard, second standard, they'll be lying down on their belly on the floor, looking at the TV, and they are drawing, they are answering their mom. Children are capable of doing many things at a time, and this is what is a multitasking. If you know many languages, you are a multitasker. And of course, if you know many languages, if you speak many languages, if you use many languages, you become better at listening skills. You listen to others. You listen to many people actively if you know many languages. In fact, there is one research finding says multilingual speakers, people who are speaking many languages, are more intelligent and competent than those who speak only one language. So according to this finding, compare Indians with Americans, Indian children are more intelligent, Indian children are more competent than Americans because they know only one language, that is English. That is why one of the 21st century skills that America has identified is multilingualism and multiculturalism. They have only one culture, American culture. So American government expect their children to know more languages, to learn more cultures also. That's why they are talking about cross-cultural communication. The American children should know many cultures, many languages. So multilingual speakers are more intelligent and more competent than monolingual children. This is so. The first benefit of learning additional languages like English is that cognitive benefits, something mentally you gain, number one. Number two, learning many languages and using many languages boost your confidence. You will not feel shy. You become an extrovert. You become open-minded. You move with everyone. You gain a lot of confidence. I know Tamil. I know Telugu. I know Kannada. I know Saurashtra. I know Hindi. I know English. If somebody says like that, then they are moving out of their comfort zone because they become more confident. Again, the research studies show that decisions that you are making in a second language are more reason driven. If you take a decision in English, this is that decision is more reason driven rather than the one that is made in your mother tongue. Because people say that when we deal with issues in our mother tongue, you become more emotional. But when you deal with issues in other languages, when you take decisions in English, for example, you distance yourself from the emotional responses and biases deeply associated with our own mother tongue. So what is the result? Systematic, clear-headed decisions are made on the facts. So that is the second point. This is also a research finding. You improve your confidence in life. Okay. Number three, if you learn other languages, you learn other cultures also. It comes as a baggage. When you learn Chinese as a language, you also learn Chinese culture. If you know Chinese, you can watch Chinese films. If you know Chinese, you can listen to Chinese songs. When you listen to Chinese songs, when you watch Chinese film, you learn their culture. So we draw comparisons to what is most familiar. When you learn English, you learn English culture. When you learn Tamil, when you learn Telugu, you learn Telugu culture. When you learn Hindi, you learn a Hindi culture. Then what do? We start comparing and contrasting with your own language. So learning about another culture sheds light on aspects of our culture. I frequently go foreign countries. So when I go to Singapore, immediately I think of Madurai. Why Madurai is like that dirty place? So when you see some clean place, when you say hardworking people in Malaysia, immediately think of people in your own country. When you have clean roads over there, how bad roads do we have? How roads are stinking. See how poorly planned city is Chennai. We say Chennai is the capital city of Tamil Nadu, but now it has become awfully bad, woefully bad. A village is much better than, cleaner than Chennai. How people are suffering in Chennai, you see. So when you learn other languages, you learn other cultures. So you compare both positively and negatively. Okay, we may not have previously considered at all. You never compared it at all, but only on seeing a foreign culture, you start comparing with our culture. Okay, so you may find a greater appreciation for what you have, or you may decide to shake up things. Things are not all right. I think that then you start say that when I went to Singapore, I saw this thing, how beaches are clean. Now here, how Chennai beaches are very bad. So you start comparing. So you learn something new. How do you learn? You learn through the cultures. How do you learn other cultures? You learn other languages. And number 4, my friends, language is the most direct connection to other cultures. Being able to communicate in another language exposes us and fosters our appreciation. We appreciate their traditions. We appreciate their religions. We appreciate their arts. We appreciate their cooking skills. We appreciate their history. No? So through language, you learn to appreciate other cultures. Greater understanding. If you have greater understanding, it promotes greater tolerance. Okay, so these governments, no, they always create rupture in our relationship, saying always projecting Pakistan as our enemy, and Pakistan government will be projecting India as their people's enemy. Now China is projected as our enemy, and in China, India will be projected as their enemy. But if you know these languages, if you know these cultures, you have greater understanding. It will promote a greater tolerance. It will promote empathy. It will amount to acceptance of all other people. We become more open-minded. We express positive attitudes toward the culture associated with their language. When you watch a Japanese serial, there was one particular serial very popular in 90s. It used to be telecast on Doordarshan. It's about a small girl. So when you watch without knowing Japanese, when you watch with the titles in English, you feel like learning Japanese. You are empathizing with the Japanese culture. Okay, something like that. When Japanese people are learning Tamil, they learn something about our culture. So it sheds our prejudices and biases. We have created wrong opinions about Pakistanis. We may have wrong opinions about Chinese. They may have wrong opinions about us. So these prejudices and biases are removed through language education. For example, in our state, as I told you, we have been brought up for the past 40 years or 50 years with lots of prejudices against the Hindi. But if you learn Hindi, you can assess that language. 2 years ago, I think 2019, I went to what's that place in Madhya Pradesh. I went for a conference there. I don't remember that place. The second largest city in Madhya Pradesh, next to Bhopal, because the college where I attend the conference, just opposite, you have High Court branch like Madurai High Court branch. And the evening, I used to go out along with other friends. The principal of the college is one father. He is from Kanyakumari. So evening we used to go. Madhya Pradesh is a hardcore Hindi-speaking state. I didn't know. I don't know Hindi, but when I went and when I talked to people in English or through sign language for coffee or a jangri or a rickshaw puller or auto wala, or to go into the city for purchase and all. Once they came to know that I did not know Hindi, they took pity on me. They took special care of me because I didn't know their language. Then I felt, had I known their language, I could have NTA'd all those people. Had I known their language, I could have learned a lot of local culture. I could have visited so many places because I didn't know Hindi. So friends, you can freely travel and speak with the local people in their language. Hindi-speaking people, when they come to Dindigal, if they know Tamil, so freely they can move around. They can go to all villages, learn quite a lot of things about us. And finally, you can become polyglots. I told you, you become people with many languages, and knowing and using many languages, polyglots, many glot language. So when you are young, you are capable of learning more languages. You can learn any number of languages. Okay. it's also scientifically proved that when you learn a second language, your brain is getting ready to learn the third language. Okay, it's because you develop new brain networks. Your brain is preparing itself to learn many more languages. It's a question of taking the first step. Okay, so it's easy for you to learn many languages because you are young. And what is the connection between women and second language learning? That's the final point that I want to share with you. Is that research findings say that women learn second languages faster and smarter. This is a research finding in 1920. In 1920, there was a great linguist who conducted a survey, and he has come to this conclusion in his book. Women second language learners learn language faster. For example, you girls, you learn English faster than boys in another college. So women are capable of learning second languages faster. They are not only learning languages faster, they also learn languages smarter. Number one. Number two, women use simple, uncomplicated language. When you compare women's writing with men's writing is more complicated. Whereas women writers, they write in simple, uncomplicated language. Another example I tell you, girl children start speaking earlier than boy babies. Faculty members who got the children, those who become mothers, they will say that. They will understand. So you girls, you started even learning your mother tongue earlier than the boys. At the age of 15 months, 1 year, 1 quarter, girl babies start uttering appa, amma, ma, monosyllabic words. Whereas boy babies, they start uttering what girl babies start uttering at the age of 15 months. Boy babies, they do only at the age of 18 months. Only after 1.5 years, boy babies start speaking. So there is a very close proximity between women and language. And women don't use bad words, whereas bad words are used by men. Of course, there may be some women may use bad words, but usually bad words are used by men. And women are always, they are taught, they are brought up using right language. Okay, so this is something available in all cultures. So friends, there are in the world, there are about 6,000 languages spoken right now. My question is, if I ask the question, how many languages do I know? Out of 6,000 languages in the world, 1,652 languages are spoken in India. How many languages do I know? I told you, there's a small boy in Mysore said he knew 7 languages. But now I think that he would have been 10 years or 12 years old then. Now he must be postgraduate like you, 22 years. God only knows how many languages he has learned now. So you have to ask yourself, how many languages do I know? If you know many languages, you can use the internet more profitably. You don't depend on English alone. So learning a second language like English opens the additional doors to opportunities for studying or working abroad. So friends, the same point I repeat by way of conclusion. Development of yourself depends on you are developing the knowledge of language. So these two things you keep in your mind: language of development and development of our country. Okay, so English is language of development, or Tamil is the language of development, and therefore you have to develop knowledge of either Tamil or English. So learning languages is not going to be a waste at all. One day or other, language will help you. Any number of languages that you learn now will always help you in the future. So that way I see that there is a very close connection between development of language by you and your development in life, and thereby you become empowered women. You become more powerful. If you are a developed person, If you're an educated person, if you know how to use a language, you don't know how to depend. So many men resort to muscle power. Why do men beat women? Because men are weak. Men are weak at what? At language. They are not able to speak and convince. They cannot convince others. They raise their hand. Okay, it's a brutal activity. And women, they don't use their muscle power. Not that they are not strong, but they are strong in their words. They are strong in their language. You can achieve anything if you have developed language in personal life and public life. In personal life, in your academic life. So language learning is a huge investment. When you have developed a knowledge of Tamil or English, you become an independent learner. You don't have to depend on others at all. Even if you don't understand what Miss said in the class, you can do it on your own. Pandemic has taught us how to make use of the internet for learning. Pandemic has taught us how we should not misuse our cell phones. As a student, as postgraduate student, 100% you must use mobile phones only for your development, not wasting time. Because come to American college, at least 90 out of 100 people, 90% of students are wasting their time all the time using their mobile phone. Is of no use. You can use mobile, you can use social media, you can use WhatsApp, you can use Facebook, you can use Instagram. There is no problem at all. But there is the time limit because our aim is something higher. Okay, so we want to develop our knowledge. For that, we want to develop our language. Once you develop your knowledge, you develop yourself. Once you develop yourself, you become employable. Once you become employable, you get money. Once you get money, you get comfort. Once you get comfort, you have a happy life. You maximize happiness and you minimize miseries, minimize problems. Okay, so that is the whole idea of education. You should not depend on menfolk at all. Maybe your husband, maybe your brothers, maybe your father. Doesn't matter. You must be independent. For you to become independent, language is very, very important. You can talk and win the people. You can win the hearts and minds of the people by talking. And people who are using muscle power is a sign of failure. With these few words, I thank the college administration, particularly Angir Kanni, who invited me for this good opportunity to share my ideas about language as a tool for knowledge acquisition, knowledge development, and development of one's personality, and for employment and prosperity in life. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for listening to me. Over to Dr. Angir Kanni.
It is only when women are provided with the proper opportunity for education, as men, we truly cultivate a society of efficiency and a world of quality. Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. No duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. Now I call upon Ms. Logiswari, Assistant Professor of English, to present the word of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to present the vote of thanks for today's webinar. First of all, I would like to thank the Almighty God for making today's webinar a great success. I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. J. John Saker, Associate Professor from the American College, who honored this webinar with his knowledge. Thank you, sir, for sparing your precious time with us. I would like to express my gratitude to our secretary, Reverend Sister Arul Devi, for giving permission to organize this webinar. Thank you, sister. I must thank our principal, Reverend Dr. Mary Pramila Shanti, for her support and guidance for organizing such an event. Thank you, sister, for assisting and encouraging all of us. And I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Principals of Arts and Sciences, Dr. M. Kavita and Mrs. J. Anthony Krishna Mary for their support. And also, I would thank IIC President Mrs. A. Angir Kanni, Assistant Professor, Department of English, who coordinated this webinar. And I'd like to thank our bill faculties and participants for making this webinar a great success. Once again, I thank you one and all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Lokeswari. As we have reached the end of our session, I gladly thank everyone for being a part of this valuable webinar. Thank you.
Dr. Angirkani, can I leave the platform? Gracie, are you there? Can I leave it?